Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Monday to you. And once again, Pepe is still kicking some serious ass. We're going to see what's going on here, of course. Help understand kind of how to navigate this type of increase, right? Because pullbacks are not really happening. I mean, they are within reason, within those Fibonacci retracement levels, but they keep going higher. So it's kind of a nice little situation that we're seeing here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that and obviously help understand what could happen next. Now, if you are new to the channel, keep in mind I do love teaching people to trade. Hopefully you can learn something here today. Obviously, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a website. Link down below. And if you want to help us grow our Twitter community, love to help help us, if you will. We have a lot of good fundamental and technical data coming through here, and it's just a really nice, awesome experience to be able to interact with my community members as well as some new potential people that are coming over and discovering the channel. So thanks again so much for that. If you are part of that, do appreciate it greatly, and please obviously like, subscribe, and follow here as well on YouTube to stay abreast and ensure notifications are enabled. So when it comes to Pepe, what we want to look at is well, a few things here. First of all, the daily is starting to give us a little bit more data, so we can kind of look at that. In truth, there's no real, no stochastics, no RSI, no MACD really, because there hasn't been enough time, right? It's a 14-day lag effectively in most cases. But what we can kind of disseminate here is just the simple fact that the price action is continuing to go higher. We are going to use the Fibonacci retracement levels on the closure for the day, right? And oftentimes when you update the Fibonacci retracement levels, you want to use it on the larger time frame if possible to get those key Fibonacci retracements. So that being said, I moved it up to the very, very top of this candle wick. In case you're not familiar with how to use this, I have instructional videos on how to utilize Fibonacci retracement. Be sure to check that out. Actually, I have strategies on how to take profits and dollar cost average effectively. But that being said here, we can kind of see how this works. Now, there's a beautiful thing about Fibonacci retracement. It has a tendency of doing very well at support and resistance levels, and then of course bouncing or continuing higher or lower. Okay, so we got to identify here that we have this strong support here at this level at about 83,000, or 83 is the easy round number to say it. And then of course the price shot up. In fact, when I covered it yesterday, it was testing this level multiple times, and I expected the price to bounce and continue higher, which it did. However, I did of course expect it to come down just a little bit lower before it came up this high. So good news, Pepe is just kicking some serious ass. And bottom line is these pullbacks are not super significant. So if history does repeat itself, keep this in mind. We could very well see a scenario like this here happen again here as well. What we need to have though to complement that is volume, which we're seeing right now. Okay, so if this volume can continue and we can still have the same amount of volume day in and day out, it will not stop. It's just going to continue to go higher and higher. And the main reason why is because, well, obviously people are starting to love this coin. As funny as it is, it's still something that's growing in value for a lot of folks, and whether it's use case or not, it's still an interesting concept, and just how powerful social media can be for these things, right? Because if you didn't have social media, you probably wouldn't know much about this coin. Regardless of that fact, that has nothing to do with it, but it's still very relevant because that's more of a fundamental catalyst versus technical. Okay, now technical catalysts like we're seeing here are still impactful, but if you don't have that social sentiment, that one person talking to another person about it, then it's not going to grow like this quick, right? So interesting phenomenon, but regardless, what I'm getting at is that word of mouth is really important. It's just as volume is too. Okay, so when we see this large amount of volume here continuing, that's an important thing. It's when the volume starts to decrease that we have problems. So we've got like about an hour left in this candlestick, and the volume is roughly halfway up. So in truth, the volume is coming down, so the price might come down with it. Okay, so again, might is the key word. It's definitely not like a foolproof 100% going to drop. But with lower volume, you will see the price tend to pull back a little bit larger. Okay, so just something to pay attention to. Let's look at some moving averages here and kind of see they're all below the price action. That's very standard. If we look at the others here, RSI, MACD, everything is screaming bullish behavior. Keep in mind though, with the RSI being up over 70 for quite a while now, this has been roughly a good 2.5, maybe 3 days. There's a great chance we could see a pullback. It becomes larger of a possibility as the price goes higher. Okay, so please recognize that it's not an exact science, but in most cases, when you have everything of that nature, that high, then that's what we're looking at. What we're also going to pull up to here as well, after I'm done with it in 1 hour, is to kind of show you the big picture and where it could potentially go. Because what we do is we can reverse the Fibonacci retracement levels and kind of see what the next steps might look like. And there's true potential in this coin going much, much further. But once again, realistically, a pullback would make sense. But again, this could be all the pullback that it needs, just like before. Okay. So good news is it's staying within its Fibonacci retracement levels. As you can see here, it pretty much stayed in that range the entire time. So we should expect the price to be range bound here unless the volume drops, and then we'll be range bound here. Okay. So that's the cool thing about the way that Fibonacci works. Hypothetically, just to give you perspective here, right around, you could pretty much just say 100,000 or 100 essentially is the number for that next key level. If the price drops down below, just say 122, then we're going to see somewhere in the range of 100 to 122. Okay. Okay, range-bound activity is usually what happens as a result of being overextended and or a pullback, which we aren't seeing here so far. Let's take a look at Sequential and see. We do have an overextension state here now finally, because I know when I covered this yesterday, it hadn't had that yet. We hit a 7 and then got a little reset, but we did hit a 9 here and it went into overtime. Okay, and I like to call it overtime because it's just, once you hit a 9 on Sequential, you're supposed to see the sideways action or pullback. It went literally straight up from there. In fact, it jumped up a good 45%. The following 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so that's an overextension, of course. The first official overextension that we've seen on this coin for some time. So that being said, is the price going to go sideways? Well, at this point, it looks like it will, as long as the volume can continue, right? And then, of course, it could leg up as well. All right, so there's a distinct possibility that this is going to continue higher. Let's take a quick look at our CC golden indicator. We are getting a green light here, kind of letting us know that there's a good chance we should be able to continue further up. We are also getting a lot of green lights here in the past telling us that, hey, we've had some great golden opportunities to get into this coin before it takes off. Okay, there's obviously some sell signals along the way. So good news is, with us being above this level here, that gives us confirmation that we are on the right side of the tracks and that a long position is much more viable. Just make sure that if you're taking long positions and you're just, say, swing trading or essentially day trading this coin, you put good stop losses in place and put your stop loss just below the Fibonacci retracement level, somewhere in the range of about 11,000. 110. 110 would be a good point to put that. Okay. All right, so that's just kind of some friendly advice there. What we want to look at last year, kind of conclude and close the video out here. We're going to reverse these Fibonacci retracement levels and see what the true potential is for this coin. So you can kind of see roughly where we could go if it were to continue to do what it's doing. Okay, so just say volume continues to stay in this range, this level or higher, we're going to be in a position where the price action will probably go much further. And that being said, what that looks like here, let's go ahead and see if we can squeeze that in a little bit, because there's a common Fibonacci retracement levels. The most common ones is 0.618 or 1.618. Okay, so again, I always joke about this. If I'm going to get a tattoo, it would be like at 1.618 or 0.618. That would just be the number that I feel is the most relevant, the most important. It's helped me out tremendously over the years, and I remain fairly successful because of that, right? So if we take a look here, 1.618, that puts us at a range of about 227. So 227, I would say, is probably the better case scenario on this run, because a lot of times when we hit that level, it will definitely turn itself around. That's a key resistance level. Okay. Same thing to be said with 1.272. We're looking at about 182. So the key levels here, first of all, round number 150 is the resistance level. 182, 201, and 228 are the three levels there for profit targets. Again, those are good levels, and what you want to do is cut the number just below. Again, if you've ever watched my Fibonacci retracement videos, you'll know that I always like to take profits just below that level, because oftentimes you'll see a candle wick up to that level, but sometimes it doesn't pass that. Okay, so just a little friendly advice on how that works. So hopefully this was educational and beneficial for you. So we are looking very strong here. Again, just pay attention to the volume. The volume starts to dissipate, and we get less volume today than yesterday. The probability of a pullback is greater, right? Because as you can see here, volume has only ever increased over the last few days, as with the price. Okay, so that as open interest increases, so does the price. And if you don't have both, then obviously it's not going to happen. But we definitely have both right now, and it's looking very probable we'll see further upside. We just need to consolidate a little bit more here at that 120 range and get that bounce that we're looking for. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. We'll cover this again soon. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you later.